Hi, everyone. Welcome to Vanished Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. I'm your host, Pete Costanas. This is episode 129, season 6. Today's date is May 17th, 2022. And thank you for joining me today. Today I will talk about my memories of CTA paper transfers and monthly passes, from the Chicago Transit Authority in Chicago. And that's an interesting topic to discuss. Also, I'll talk about last week's posts and, the week before of Vanished Chicagoland Facebook page. Right now, the program will go into a commercial break. This program is brought to you by the Campfire Girls public service announcement. And this is from 1968. I remember this commercial, and it had a catchy tune. This is from the late 60s. And this is from 1968. So if you tune in and listen, you might remember it if you grew up around that time. If you're in your 50s, if you're late 40s or in 50s, of your age, that is. So here we go.
She's a sleeping woman with a summer thing. Campfire girl, all wrapped up in everything. Campfire girl, attitudes are early spring. Campfire girl, she's still unfolding, finding out. Campfire girl, she'll grow on trust and not on doubt. Campfire girl, campfire girl, campfire girl. Read her eyes, you'll see they say she's free. Campfire girl, campfire girl.
We're so done with New Year, New You. This year, it's more you on Bumble. More of you shamelessly sending playlists, especially that one filled with show tunes. More of you finding Geminis because you know you always like them. More of you dating with intention because you know what you want. And you know what? We love that for you. Someone else will too. Be more you this year and find them on Bumble.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial for Campfire Girls. That was a public service announcement. And I said previously, I remember this commercial, and it had a catchy tune. I'm surprised it's on YouTube. Thank goodness. And you can see it if you'd like. Campfire Girls is still around. I read somewhere it's co-ed now, so boys can join. Interesting. Wasn't like that before. With Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts. I never joined. I never was a scout. I never did. I don't know. I never was interested, but it seemed like fun. But it's a good learning experience when you're younger. So they had it in my church, so I never was interested. I don't know. Oh, well. There are a lot of things I did younger and I wish I did, but I didn't. So that's how it is. Okay, at the beginning of the program, we'll talk about my memories of CTA paper transfers and monthly passes. Also, I would discuss last week's posts on Vanished Chicagoland on my Facebook page. Before I start, I want to tell you something. This week, I am celebrating my 10th anniversary of Vanished Chicagoland of the Facebook page. I'll give you a brief history of that. First, I created the Gately's People Store that was located in Roseland. And that started May 16th. That was yesterday. And it only went for a few days. I got some few responses, but not much. Then one day I was surfing Facebook. I noticed a Facebook page, and it was Dispense's Castle of Toys. And you remember that toy store that was located in Oakbrook Terrace? And I'm thinking to myself, why are they having a page where that business is no longer around? It was a tribute page. Someone did that. So I got to think, instead of just Gately's, why don't I do other businesses like Marshall Fields, Carson Perry Scott? Well, it was in business at the time. or Zaire or any restaurants that are gone or anything like that. So, but just businesses. I start first. So I changed the name to Chicago Extinct Businesses on May 19th, which is this Thursday. I'm going to do something special for this event. And it took a while for a couple of years to take off, and it did. And someone from my local paper noticed it, interviewed me, and then they had the article printed, and then the rest was history. It grew up. It grew, not grew up. It just grew and grew astronomically. It just everyone saw it, and then my likes grew every day. Now they don't grow anymore. It's around 66. I have 66,000 followers, and I also have a Facebook group, and I have over 111,000 members, which is fine. And I continue to post, update. And in January 2019, I want to broaden a little bit. So not just businesses. I want to do things in Chicago that are no longer around. Besides that, so I changed the name to, it took me a while to figure out. So I changed it to Vanished Chicagoland, and it's stuck. I'm not going to change it again. A lot of people didn't like it because they're used to that for so many years, but now they grew it. They love that. And it's been recognized by the media. Thank you very much. I talked to people, and now a lot of people that I know that grew up with me, at church and school and in the neighborhood, they didn't know it was me at first because I didn't mention my name, but it took time. Now they do, hopefully. And I'm enjoying it every day, and I love it. And I will continue, until the day I die. We'll see. But for now, I'm doing all right, and I'm having a ball. I discover new things every day. I really do. Or create videos. I've done that for many years. I have a blog. Sometimes I write stories, but I haven't wrote a story in a long time because I've done the podcast, so I just do that. Also, I started a podcast in March 2021, doing very well. And I'll probably do a video this week. We'll see. To commemorate the anniversary of this wonderful milestone. Okay. Right now, first off, I'm going to talk about my post from last week and sort of the week before. Okay. And here we go. The first one I did it was my cover photo. It was from the Millionaires Club in Fort City. They had a location in Wabash Avenue downtown. Also at Niles, I think one in Lombard, and of course Fort City. I forgot where else, somewhere in the north side. But a lot of people where I grew up at Fort City on the southwest side remembered this place. I never went there. I saw it, but they went there, and it's called the Millionaires Club. But you're not supposed to be a millionaire to join. And it was a good restaurant, and you had all the cocktails you want. They had the kiddie cocktails. A lot of kids were introduced to that. I think the owner's name was Chris Carson. I think he owned Carson Ribs. I think there's one location left. I think in Deerfield. Could be wrong. I don't know. I remember the one in River North area. I used to live in there. I used to work in that area about 30 years ago, and I went there for lunch. And it's the food was good, and they had the pate, free goose liver, free pate. First time I tried it, not bad. So the Millionaires Club was there in the 70s in Fort City, and then it closed. It was right next to Weebolt's department store. And a lot of people who live in the neighborhood, they don't live there anymore, but I grew up with, they still remember that place. They either liked it, they worked there. That was fine. Okay. Next up, I will talk about Maurice Lennell's cookies. I found a box on eBay, with the order form. You write your name. That's a cool product. It really is. People still miss the cookies, especially the pinwheels. I love those. I wish somebody would make them again. I really do. I love that. With the raspberry at the edge. Oh, and the twirling. You look at it, you turn around, you get dizzy. They made other cookies also, like I think Jelly Stars. Christmas time was the best. Wonderful. We still miss that place. We still miss it. Oh. Okay. Next up, I hate this mouse. It goes up and down. Last week I watched a virtual tour of Riverview, and it was about almost 2 hours. I thought it was going to be an hour. And the host was Layla Royale. I think that's her name. She has a Facebook page, and it's called F in Chicago. And it was about review amusement park. She did a good job. I liked it. And she mentioned a few rides, most of it, and also scandals and why the park closed. And a lot of people know that now, but I enjoyed it very much. And you can still watch it. It's on her page on Facebook. The video's still there. If you have time to watch about 1 hour and 44 minutes, help yourself. And I loved it. It was great. I'm a big Riverview nut. Oh, yeah, I just love it. I didn't like it at first when I was growing up, but now I'm just infatuated by this place. I don't know why. I want to learn more. More. Amazing. Okay, next up, I found something interesting. I found a plastic shopping bag and advertisements. I can't say the word. From Zayre Department Store. And this is the Bicentennial. I remember this from 1976. I was about 12. Yeah, I was about 12 years old, I think. Yeah, I was 12 years old. I didn't turn 13. It was October. And I remember the Bicentennial. And that was a big deal back then. And so I found them on eBay. And most intact. They look beautiful. I remember them like yesterday. The Zayre store that was near my house, where I grew up, was on Columbus Avenue, near Western, right next to the Double Drive-In Theater. And Wiseway Foods, great grocery store. My mom went there all the time. She loved it. She misses it. She still does. And next up, I found something interesting. I found some cafeteria ads from Kmart and Kresge's and Jupiter stores. Remember Jupiter? And it was mostly from Kmart. And I remember they had a cafeteria, and I never ate there, but according to some people, they said the food was very good. It was like Woolworths, with Harvest House cafeteria, and and they showed the prices. And according to most people, they said the food was very good back then. Kmart's gone. I think there's only one Kmart left in the United States, and that's in New Jersey. That's it. The rest are gone. In Chicago, gone. I think the last one was in Des Plaines, Illinois, up north, which is a shame. It was a good store back then in the 70s. There was one near my old neighborhood at 71st and Pulaski. My mom went there shopping all the time. So did I, with the blue plate specials and the intercom. Attention Kmart shoppers. I think Johnny Carson did that on the show and the Tonight Show. That's still memorable like that. Also, I found a photo from the 1960s. It was a National Food Store. And that was located at the Sauk Plaza in Sauk Village, Illinois. And this is a cool photo. And I remember National Foods. We had one when we lived in South Shore. That was on 73rd and Exchange. My mom never shopped there. She went to Hilo. And, of course, my uncle's grocery store on the corner. And also Jewel, that was on 75th and Crandon. And then we moved to Ashburn, and National was at Fort City for a little while. And then about a few months later, closed. And so there were National Foods all over. Also in Roseland, before we moved to Ashburn, we lived in Roseland. And that was on that 115th and Michigan. It was in that plaza, the Roseland Plaza, where there was the Coven drugstore. Also, the Coffee Pot Restaurant. I knew the owner very well. Great place. There's a funny story about that place. I'll tell you someday about that. And I remember we went to that restaurant. And also, my mom, she shopped once over there, but she liked the A&P. I remember the A&P was at 112th in Michigan. She liked that better. It was closer. So that's a cool photo. When I posted that, people went crazy because they remember that. Now the plaza has changed, so there's no grocery store. There used to be called Fairway, but it closed, according to some people. Also, I posted a Creature Features ad. It was the 1933 classic movie, The Invisible Man, that starred Claude Rains. I love that movie. It is hilarious and scary. Well, it was scary when it was left, but I love the movie. It's wonderful. He played a very evil guy. It's his voice. Also, the movie was 1931 Svengali. A lot of people got confused with Svengoolie. It's not Svengoolie, it's Svengali. It was a hypnotist. It's based on a story Those movies aired on May 13th, 1972. I've never seen this movie, Some Guy, but I want to see it. It sounds interesting. And I remember in the Three Stooges, there was a guy, his name was Sven Garlic, and he hypnotized the Stooges when they were on the flagpole. It's hilarious. I love it. When Shemp rips Moe's pants down. Also, Shemp tried to hypnotize Moe, and that's a classic scene if you see it. Okay, and also I found napkins and napkin holders from Meisterbrow. I found that on eBay. They're really cool looking, and you place like coasters, if you go in to order a beer and put a napkin there, and Meisterbrow still missed to this day. Well, of course, Meisterbrow Light turned into light beer. That's another story. And made in Chicago. Okay. Let's see what else. I think, one last thing. I think a couple last things I did. I posted a postcard from, this is the Three Sisters Dress Shop. This was located at 26 South State Street in Chicago. There was a Three Sisters store in Roseland on the corner of 112th Street, right across from Gately's People's Store. My mom went shopping lots of times. The clothes were beautiful, exquisite. She loved that store. There was another store called Gordon's that was a little north of our apartment building. But Three Sisters, they were, I think on the north side. One was at 20 on Cermak Road somewhere. Also on South Chicago, on the south side, on Commercial Avenue. But the Three Sisters, on the one in Roseland, what was unique about that is the entrance. It was like a glass entrance, like you go around. It looked like an island. And it was real cool. It was a beautiful store. And the sign is still there in the back of the store. I think on the maybe the side of the store. I don't remember. I think the side of the store. If you drive down East 112th Street, you'll see the store. It's faded. It's still there. I used to see it all the time. Amazing. So another store occupies now. So Roseland's changed so much. Also, yesterday I posted a ad for WCLR 102 FM, and right now it's the mix. And they were giving away Sony Walkmans. I had a Sony Walkman, and it was a radio, and it was given to me a wedding gift. My cousin got married in the 80s, and I think his bride at the time gave him presents because I stood up at the wedding, and it was real cool. I don't know if I still have it. It doesn't work. I don't think so. But it was a tape cassette, and also a radio, I think, or just a tape cassette. I don't remember, but it was cool. Walkmans are still made, but it's different. They're very different now. But in Japan, I don't know. Right now we have MP3. The iPad. They announced they're not making the iPads anymore, which is a shame. I want to buy one, but I don't know. I'll think about it. They're being sold while they last. So if you want to buy one, go ahead, because they're not making them anymore. And it's a shame. I still have two old ones. I have the original. This is from 2010, the white one, and also a black one where Bono from U2 used to advertise. I have that, and the white one doesn't really work, but the black one still does. Amazing, it still works. And hopefully I can. I don't know if it'll work when I connect it now, because the software's changed so much. With Apple, they keep changing every year, keeps upgrading. So we'll see. We'll see about that. Okay, enough of that. Now I will talk briefly about CTA transfers. They started doing that in 1913 with the elevated systems, with the L's, and they was only doing it in the downtown area. And then later on, they started doing the paper ones in 1914 with the streetcars. They started with the Chicago surface lines, and there was no charge, and you could change between streetcars. And it was the rule was you have to use them with a reasonable amount of time. So that was pretty cool. Then in 1932, they started a transfer showing a clock and a map, which was shown for a long, long time until 1986, when the CTA. And then they changed the rules in 1974. And when you're board on the bus, you had the clock, and then the bus driver has these punch stalls with the punch holder. I think that's what's called like that, and he hands it to you. You have to show it. He'll deny you boarding if you don't have a transfer or if you don't have your fare. That's happened to me once when I was little, and it was pretty cool. So you get transferred from your bus to the L all during that time, which is pretty nice. I did that when I was younger. Also, my parents, because they did not drive at the time. And especially my father, he never drove. He went to work at the Conrad Hilton, taking the bus or the L, and he always had transfers. And then later on in 1935, you could transfer between the Chicago Service Line, the CSL, and the Rapid Transit. So that was in 1935. And then they were available by the Chicago Motor Coach Company. That was a bus line before the CTA. And they were there. Also, the CTA took over the Chicago Service Line and Chicago Rapid Transit Company in 1947. And then the buses came. In 1952, they took they took over the service lines, but in 1952 they took the bus, which was the Chicago Motor Coach Company, and they transferred to the CTA, Chicago Transit Authority. Transfers were around for a long, long time, and they can used anywhere within an hour. And in 1974, they did the super transfer, and those are Sundays, I think. I don't know if they did that every day. I think it was just Sunday. My father used that on Sundays because he worked Sundays, and he went to the Hilton. And the bus routes were kind of scarce. I mean, luckily we found when we lived in Ashburn, there was a bus route that stayed until 1 o'clock. He came on at 1 o'clock in the morning, but it still ran. But there were owl services. Some routes had that. The Pulaski bus had that. Thank God. We were going to buy a house at 107th Street in Pulaski, but the thing is, the Pulaski bus only ran up to 81st Street around midnight. So that was out about 1 o'clock, and that was it. So luckily, he took the Pulaski bus, then he took the Archer bus to go downtown. And also, then the express buses came, the 99, the 162 routes, the Stevenson, and before the before the Orange Line opened, we did that. Okay. Also, let's see. And then the super transfer was, very popular. A lot of people loved it. I used it to do sometimes. And then in 1986, the clock and the map was replaced because there was a lot of fraud, and so they changed that. And that was gone. That lasted until 97. Then they were replaced by the transfers were transfer cards with the magnetic stripes. And then that ran until 2006, and then they do the value cards. I think I don't know what that's called, Ventura or something like that. They were transfer cards. I never used it. I never used those. I stopped taking the CTA around 1992. That's the last time I commuted. So, was transfer cards there? Yeah, there was still transfers. I took the 162 from my house and worked downtown. But when I went to DeVry in the 80s, I used the bus frequently. I did not have a car. I had a graduation. I had my first car after I graduated from DeVry. But I took the bus to go to DeVry. I took the Pulaski bus or the 162, went downtown, took the blue line to go north, and got off at Belmont, and then took the Belmont bus to Campbell, 1 block west of Western, where Riverview was, and that's where DeVry was. And I did that for 3 years. And I used the transfer, but I had to use transfers. But then the monthly pass started. I don't know when exactly, what year, but then I didn't work at that time, so my father bought it for me. He bought it it was like $48, $45. Then it reached up to $50, and I used that pass every month. And I went to school. I was very grateful. I appreciated that he bought this for me, and because he wanted me to finish school. I almost didn't, but that's another story. And I used that pass every day. I used it to board the L. I mean, first the Belmont bus, board the L, then the other bus, and went home. It was a long commute, but I studied when I was on the train and the bus. So that's good. I took my time studying. That was a good thing. And also studying at home. And I did it for 3 years, and I graduated in May of 86. And that was that. And so now the CTA is, they have you use your phones now. You have an app. I haven't used that yet. So it's just like Metro. So, but I prefer, a lot of people don't like the transfers, but they're nostalgic. They really are. And you can find them in eBay or anywhere or in any website. And they showed all the transfers with the routes and all that. It's kind of cool. And with the maps. So technology changed. It really has. So I don't use public transportation. I haven't used it in a long time. I don't go to downtown much. So, but my brother does sometimes. And I think he has a pass or, I don't know, maybe an app. I haven't asked him. Okay. That'll be all for today. I was discussing my last week post on Vanished Chicagoland. Also, I talk about my memories of paper transfers and monthly passes. Thank you for joining me today. It was a very interesting show. Coming up, it's the anniversary of my Facebook page, 10th anniversary. I'm very excited, and I will do something. Maybe do a video or something. We'll see. I will work on that. And my next podcast episode will be this weekend. So we'll see. That would be episode 130. So this is your host, Pete Costanis. Thank you for joining me. I had a wonderful time talking about this. And bye-bye for now. And here's Ray Rayner saying, so long, everybody. Bye-bye-bye. And with a little traveling music. Take it away, Ray. Bye, everyone.
We have to go. Bye, bye, bye.